Imagine falling, and no one knows you're there. It's a chilling thought, one that many older adults quietly carry with them each day. What if something happens? A fall, a stroke, a sudden illness, and no one comes? No knock on the door, no phone ringing, just silence. Right now, millions of seniors live alone across America. Some cherish their independence. Others, like Margaret, 72, live with an unspoken fear. After her husband passed, she thought she was doing fine, until the day she slipped in the bathroom and lay on the cold tile floor for hours. That moment changed everything. But here's the truth. No one tells you. You don't have to give up your freedom to stay safe. With just a few simple choices, you can protect yourself and live with peace of mind again. In this video, we'll walk through 6 life-saving steps that every older adult living alone should consider. Because your safety isn't just a luxury, it's your right. If you or someone you love lives alone, drop a 1 in the comments. Let's start this conversation, because the time to act isn't tomorrow. It's now. 1. Recognizing the real risks. We all want to believe we're fine, until we're not. Margaret told herself that same story. She was strong, independent, still cooking her own meals and tending her rose bushes. But what she didn't see coming wasn't a thief or a scammer. It was the floor. A small puddle of water from the shower. A moment's distraction. And suddenly, she was on her back, unable to move, pain shooting up her hip, breath catching in her throat. This wasn't just an accident, it was a wake-up call. The truth is, for many older adults living alone, danger doesn't knock on the door. It waits quietly in the corners of everyday life. A missed step on the stairs, a medication reaction in the middle of the night, a stroke that steals your speech before you can call for help. These aren't stories to scare you. They're the reality for millions. And yet, most people wait until something happens before making a change. That's the risk no one talks about. Not just the fall itself, but the hours, sometimes days, before anyone finds out. That kind of silence can be deadly. According to the CDC, 1 in 4 Americans over 65 falls each year. For those who live alone, the consequences are far more severe. Delayed care leads to longer recoveries, greater disability, even premature death. It's not about being paranoid, it's about being prepared. Margaret didn't want to bother her children with her worries, so she stayed silent, until her silence almost cost her everything. After her fall, she spent 2 nights in the hospital and weeks in rehab. The worst part wasn't the pain. It was the thought. If it had been worse, who would have known? This is where change begins. Not with fear, but with awareness. It's time to stop pretending that being fine means being safe. The most dangerous thing we can do is assume tomorrow will be like today. Because all it takes is one moment, one slip, one missed heartbeat, and everything changes. So if you're living alone or love someone who is, ask the hard question now. What would happen if something went wrong? Not in theory, but tonight, in your own home. Because the people who live the longest, the strongest, and the freest are the ones who plan ahead. If this message speaks to you, leave a 2 in the comments. It's not just about reacting to life, it's about reclaiming control before the emergency happens. 2. Emergency readiness, when seconds count. Knowing the risks is only half the battle. The next step is preparing for them before they arrive. After Margaret's fall, she realized something chilling. She didn't have a plan. No emergency contacts on the fridge, no medical alert device. Her phone had been charging in the kitchen, 15 feet and one searing pain away. Lying there on the cold bathroom floor, she wasn't just hurt. She was alone, unprepared, and vulnerable. Many older adults believe that having a phone nearby is enough. But what if you can't reach it? What if you're disoriented or unconscious? Emergencies don't wait for convenience. They strike fast and without warning. That's why having a personalized emergency readiness plan isn't just smart. It's critical. Start simple. Write down key phone numbers, your doctor, your closest family members, a trusted neighbor, and post them somewhere visible, like the refrigerator or beside your landline. Label contacts in your cell phone with ICE in case of emergency, so first responders can find them quickly, even if your phone is locked. But don't stop there. Margaret now wears a small medical alert pendant, lightweight, discreet, and always within reach. With one press of a button, she can alert emergency services or a designated contact. Some devices even detect falls automatically and call for help without needing any input. "I never thought I'd need one," she admitted. "Now, I can't imagine not having it." There are also smart home devices that monitor movement and emergency call buttons you can place near the bed, in the shower, or next to your favorite chair. If you're worried about cost, local senior centers or health organizations often offer discounts or free programs for those in need. Emergency readiness also means thinking beyond medical events. Do you have a flashlight by your bed in case of a power outage? A clear exit plan if there's a fire? A hidden key or lockbox that allows responders access to your home if you're unable to open the door? These may seem like small steps, but in a crisis, they can make the difference between life and tragedy. Margaret's wake-up call became her turning point. Today, she feels safer not because the risks have disappeared, but because she's no longer defenseless. She knows help can reach her, even if she can't reach for it herself. The question isn't if an emergency might happen. The question is, will you be ready when it does? If you're committed to taking that first step toward safety, or helping someone else do the same, drop a 3 in the comments. Because planning ahead doesn't take away your independence. It protects it. The power of a daily check-in. Having a plan is vital, but so is knowing that someone will actually notice when something's wrong. After setting up her emergency kit, Margaret still couldn't shake one unsettling thought. What if I can't press the button? What if I lose consciousness before help can be called? That's when her daughter suggested something simple but powerful: a daily check-in routine. At first, Margaret was hesitant. "I don't want to bother anyone," she said, a common response, especially for those who've lived decades solving their own problems. But safety isn't about burden. It's about connection. And a check-in system doesn't require someone to be nearby. It just means someone notices your presence and your absence. Margaret now texts her neighbor Diane every morning. "Good morning. All's well." That's it. One sentence, 30 seconds. But it changed everything. If Diane doesn't hear from her by 9 a.m., she knows to knock. If Margaret ever gets a strange phone call or sees someone suspicious outside her home, she lets Diane know. That second layer of protection, that second set of eyes, gives her peace of mind. And it goes both ways. Daily check-ins aren't just about emergencies. They create rhythm, accountability, and human contact, even brief ones. For someone living alone, even the smallest exchange can be a lifeline. If you don't have someone nearby, there are dozens of free or low-cost check-in services, including automated calls or apps that notify emergency contacts if you don't respond by a set time. Some medical alert systems come with optional check-in reminders. You can even coordinate a quick call with a friend who also lives alone, each looking out for the other, even from miles away. It's not about creating dependency. It's about building a system where you're never truly invisible. Margaret now laughs when she recalls how reluctant she was. "I thought it would make me feel old," she said. "But actually, it makes me feel seen." There's power in being noticed. Power in knowing someone cares enough to check in. And if the day ever comes when you don't respond, that silence won't go unheard. Ask yourself, who would notice if you went quiet? Who could you count on to check in? Or who might need you to check on them? Because being alone doesn't have to mean being forgotten. All it takes is one message a day to remind someone, and yourself, that you're not facing life in isolation. If you already have a check-in system, or you're inspired to start one today, comment 4 below. Let's build a culture where no one falls through the cracks, simply because no one knew they needed help. 4. Fall prevention. When your home becomes the hazard. Even with check-ins and emergency plans in place, the most common danger still lives where we feel safest, inside our own homes. For Margaret, it wasn't the world outside that threatened her independence. It was her hallway rug, the same rug she'd had for 20 years. It had curled at the corners, just slightly. One careless step, and it nearly took her down again, just weeks after her hospital discharge. Falls are the #1 reason older adults visit the emergency room, and most of them happen at home. But here's the good news. Most of them are preventable. Your home should be your sanctuary, not a trap. And a few small changes can make a life-changing difference. Margaret began her fall-proofing journey by walking through her home with fresh eyes. She replaced dim hallway bulbs with bright LED lights. She cleared the clutter, stacks of old magazines, extension cords, loose shoes by the door. She removed throw rugs altogether. Then came the safety bars, one by the toilet, another inside the shower. Installing them took less than an hour, but they've spared her countless moments of uncertainty. Slippery floors and unsteady balance are no match for a well-placed grab bar. But she didn't stop at the house. Margaret also realized her body needed just as much support as her walls. She began doing simple balance and strength exercises each morning. Chair stands to build leg strength. Heel-to-toe walks down the hallway. Ankle rolls before bed. None of it was fancy. None of it took more than 10 minutes. But the results? Transformative. "I used to hold on to furniture when I walked," she confessed. "Now I stand straighter. I feel steadier. And that confidence, it matters." Because falling isn't just a physical threat. It's emotional. It makes you question your mobility, your strength, even your independence. And fear of falling can lead people to become more sedentary, which, ironically, only increases the risk. Breaking that cycle means taking action, not chances. So take a look around your home today. Is there enough light? Are your walkways clear? Would you feel secure stepping out of the shower without support? Prevention doesn't require a renovation. It requires attention and the willingness to prioritize safety before a crisis forces your hand. If you've already made even one small change to prevent a fall, or if you know it's time to start, leave a 5 in the comments. Let's show others that protecting your space is not about fearing the future, but claiming it confidently, one step at a time. 5. Movement is medicine, staying strong to stay independent. While adjusting your environment is crucial, strengthening your body is the secret weapon many overlook. After fall-proofing her home, Margaret thought she was finally in the clear. until she found herself struggling to lift a grocery bag. Her legs felt weaker, her balance shaky. It wasn't just about tripping anymore. It was about not trusting her own body. That's when her doctor gave her a simple truth. If you don't move it, you lose it. Aging naturally comes with muscle loss, especially in the legs, the very muscles that help us walk, rise from a chair, and catch ourselves if we stumble. But the decline isn't inevitable. With just a few minutes of gentle exercise each day, seniors can maintain the strength and stability that help them stay upright and in control. Margaret started small. 5 minutes each morning, right after brushing her teeth. She began with chair stands, slowly rising from a seated position without using her hands. Then heel-to-toe walking, balancing as she moved across the living room. Simple ankle circles while watching the news. Nothing intense, no gym, just intentional movement. It didn't take long before she noticed the difference, not just in her body, but in her mindset. She walked with more confidence. She reached for shelves without hesitation. She stopped avoiding stairs. "Exercising made me feel young again," she said. "Not because I'm faster, but because I feel capable." And that's the heart of it. Movement isn't about vanity, it's about agency. Regular activity reduces the risk of falls, improves circulation, helps control blood pressure, and boosts mental health. It also fights the fatigue and brain fog that can come with inactivity. Most importantly, it helps restore the sense of ownership over your own body, something that many people quietly grieve as they age. If you're not sure where to begin, start with what you already know. Walking, light stretching, or following along with a gentle online video designed for seniors. The goal isn't performance. The goal is presence. In your body, in your breath, in your life. Margaret now treats her 5-minute routine like brushing her teeth, a non-negotiable habit that keeps her rooted and resilient. It's become more than movement. It's become a daily promise to herself. So ask yourself, when was the last time you moved just for you? Not to clean, not to reach, not to run errands, but to build strength. You don't have to run marathons to stay independent. You just have to stay in motion. If you've taken even a single step toward moving more, or you're ready to try, type 6 in the comments, because the first movement that matters is the one you choose today. 6. The quiet danger. Isolation and the power of connection. Strengthening your body is vital, but so is nourishing your spirit. Margaret had done everything right. Her home was safer. Her legs were stronger. Her emergency contacts were in place. But even with all those steps, something still felt hollow. She noticed it most in the evenings when the house got quiet, and no voices filled the space where laughter used to live. That's the kind of emptiness no medical alert device can fix. Loneliness doesn't crash in like an accident. It seeps in slowly. A missed phone call, a canceled visit, a holiday spent alone. And eventually, it becomes a new normal, one that carries real risks. Studies show that chronic isolation increases the risk of heart disease, dementia, depression, and even early death. In fact, being socially disconnected has the same health impact as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. But the danger isn't just physical, it's emotional. It erodes confidence, hope, and motivation. Margaret didn't even realize how much she'd withdrawn until a chance meeting at the local hardware store. An old friend invited her to a community garden club. "Just stop by," he said. She almost said no, but something inside her, some small flicker of curiosity, said yes. That yes changed everything. She didn't just find plants. She found people. People who remembered her name, laughed at her jokes, and asked about her day. Suddenly, Wednesdays weren't empty anymore. They were filled with conversation, shared stories, and the kind of connection that can't be replaced by a screen. You don't need a crowd. You just need someone. Staying socially connected doesn't require extroversion or endless energy. It requires intention. A weekly call with an old friend, a monthly lunch with neighbors, joining a book club, a walking group, or a faith-based gathering. Even online communities offer safe, low-pressure spaces to connect over shared interests, from woodworking to classic films. Connection is not about always being surrounded. It's about not feeling invisible. Margaret now keeps a simple list on her fridge, not just of emergency contacts, but of social lifelines. People she can call, places she can go, moments she can look forward to. Because what good is safety if you feel like you're vanishing? So ask yourself, when was the last time you truly connected? Not just chatted, but felt seen? If your answer feels too far back, it's time. Time to rekindle what matters most. If this part of the story spoke to your heart, comment 7 below. Share your favorite way to stay connected, or tag someone you've been meaning to reach out to. Let's remind each other that growing older doesn't mean growing apart. Margaret didn't make all her changes overnight. In fact, she resisted them at first, just like so many do. But step by step, her fear turned into confidence. Her loneliness gave way to connection. And her home? It became a place of strength, not risk. She didn't lose her independence, she protected it. Each of the 6 steps she took, recognizing real risks, building an emergency plan, setting up daily check-ins, preventing falls, staying active, and reconnecting socially, became building blocks in a safer, more fulfilling life. And the most powerful part? Every single one of these actions started with a choice. A decision not to wait for disaster, but to prepare for peace. Not to live in fear, but to live with intention. The truth is, aging doesn't have to mean fading. It can mean rising into a chapter marked by wisdom, clarity, and resilience. So if you're living alone or love someone who is, let this story be your spark. You don't need to overhaul everything today. Just begin. Choose one change. Start small. And trust that every step forward brings more freedom, not less. Because safety isn't the end of independence. It's what makes independence sustainable. If this video moved you, if it opened your eyes or touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to the channel for more stories that empower, uplift, and remind us all. It's never too late to take control of the life you deserve. We'll see you in the next story. Until then, stay strong, stay safe, and stay connected.
This audio is made with Audio Toolkit for